You know that feeling when you're like with someone, everything is perfect, everything goes well, and then you start to meet their friend, and suddenly there is things that change. You kind of just feel like a stranger, like just standing there and not being part of the group. And then on your way back home, you start to overthink, being like, okay, what's wrong? Did I did something wrong? Is it me? Is it them? What's going on? I don't recognize my partner. Let's talk about what's actually going on in that case. The first thing you have to realize is that there is multiple versions of the person you're dating. And when you start to date with someone, you only saw one, and most likely the one in private. So when you went to a date, you saw the version of your partner with you, like going on a date, walking, eating dinner, or like whatever. But you did not saw the version of your partner when they are with their friends. And this could be different, and it is actually different. Like, we all ourselves are like different in different settings. We can say yes, but I'm just true to myself like all the time. That's not true. We have different behaviors if we are with our best friends, if we are with like colleagues, if we are with family. And that's the same for the person you're dating. So unless you've met them in a group setting, in a friend setting, which means that you already saw them in that setting, and so you just discover the new part of them when you're like just the two of you. Meeting your partner in a friend setting is kind of like discovering a new person, not a fully new person, but someone that will already have like habits and behaviors with those people, their friends, without you, which means that now the dynamic changed a little bit for them. So it could be a little bit awkward, but you have to realize that this happened at the beginning. This is the same thing like for you that has to kind of like adapt because you just start to meet like new people that are like the friends of your partner. But this is also like for your partner to like behave kind of like differently, because at the same time they will behave the same way they will behave with their friend, but also they will behave the same way they will behave with you when you're just alone. But sometimes those behavior like does not match. So you will see things that are like a little bit different. For example, if they were like really like physical with you when you're just one-on-one, they might be a little bit less physical because they're with their friend. This is the most kind of obvious thing, I would say. And that's not the case for everyone. As you know, everyone is different. We don't have like the same like feeling, the same way of doing, but you get the point. So if there is something different, you're not crazy. This is what explains that. Now there is something that you have to realize is how they behave, because there is kind of like two behaviors in this situation. There is the behavior or like, of course, they will try to make everyone's good. So, they will have like, for example, inside jokes. They will try to explain you this inside jokes. They will try to put you part of the group, They will try their best. So it might be a little bit awkward and a little bit strange at the beginning for both of you, but they will try, They will do things to kind of like put you at ease, and they might also do things that you might not necessarily like. But again, this is like most likely the first time or the first few times, so your partner most likely just need time to adjust. Then there is the second behavior, and the second behavior is that, well, most likely they will just go with the behavior they're used to, like being with their friend, and they will kind of like let you out. So they will not really like do like a lot of effort to put you in and like to explain you the things or to make you feel like part of it, and you might feel it. And the worst part with that is that they will not necessarily be aware of that, because for them they will just behave normally. You have to realize that they will just behave normally. They will not try to behave like that just to push you out. It's just that, as I said, this is two different settings. And there's the settings when they are like with you, which they have like their behavior, and the settings when they are like with their friend, the people they know. Again, those are not necessarily similar, which means that maybe by default when they were with their friend, they're just like, oh, let me like hang out with my friend, having like all jokes and stuff and etc. And well, paying less attention to you. But it does not mean that they just push you and they don't like you. It's just that they did not realize that, okay, you have to mix like two settings, so you have to handle that. So then, of course, you do whatever you want with this information, but this is important to like realize that there is like those two behaviors and what they mean. But in most cases, it does not mean that they're just trying to push you out. Of course, there is the case where, well, you start to meet with their friend and they actually act weird and don't really want to kind of show you in a way. But I think that this is pretty rare and does not really make sense, because if they don't want it to show you, well, you will not meet their friend in the first place. So this kind of like solve the problem, but this is still an option. Pretty low chances, but still an option. Now that you understand the situation, what you do with that? The first thing and the first mistake that most people try to do in this situation is that they try to perform. And this is the case in most relationships, when like people try to perform for their partner, for their friends, for like the friend of their friend. Like people by default will try to perform to be like, I will show to them that I am worth it, that I am good. But again, in a relationship, it could be friendship, love relationship, whatever, you should never perform for someone. You should just be yourself. And the person in the other side of the relationship will love you or like you the way you are. If they don't, they are not a person for you. You have to remember that. So if we come back, some people do the mistake or try to perform for the friends of their partner. So they try to be like more funny, like to try to like get into the inside jokes, try to kind of like push their way in the group. The best thing to do in that case is definitely not to do that. Again, the same thing I'm saying in every single video: communication. Just go to your partner and name the thing. Like, of course, not a confrontation. Don't try to start a fight, but just go there and be like, okay, well, I realized like the behavior was like a little bit different. Well, is that you maybe like adapting? I felt a little bit like that. Can we talk about that? You know, just having a conversation. Don't try to blame your partner, because as I said, most of the case, they don't do that on purpose and they don't really realize, because again, two different settings, you know, they have to adapt. Maybe you're good at this. That's the thing. Like, don't try to mirror the thing. Don't try to be like, okay, but if that was me, like bringing my partner to my friends, I will know how to handle this, so how they cannot handle this. Like, people are like different, and you're actually starting to learn about the other person. So don't blame them. Don't try to be like negative about that. Don't be like, okay, me, I will do this like this. No, this is not the goal. Is to try to understand and to let them know that this is how you felt and that you're trying to actually having a change on that, like to feel better and so that it works better. So the goal is not to ask them to be like a different person, but just to be aware that you're there and, well, that they're trying to like mix like two settings, and that ideally that they keep that in mind the next time. So of course, the next time is not going to be perfect, but slowly and slowly, if you tell them and you see they will make effort, it will, with time, it will start to be like a little bit more natural, and you will see that it will become comfortable, and then you will reach the point where, well, it will be fine and you will be able to hang out with your partner and their friend. So the one thing to remember is that there is a difference between like being with your partner like privately and being with your partner like publicly, and especially next to their friend, because, well, as I said, different kind of behaviors, which means that sometimes they doesn't match, and that could explain some, well, unexpected behavior that might hurt you or might make you feel ways that were not intended, like make you feel like bad or sad or rejected. But in most of the case, that's not the goal. So again, solution is always name the thing, talk about that with your partner, try to find a solution, and let time goes to see if they actually act on. This is the most important part. You name the thing, you talk about that, they will be like, if they're a good partner, okay, let's try to make this better the next time. And you actually see and look at the behaviors to see if they actually try to make an effort on that. And if so, well, at some point, the issue will be fixed and you will be happy together. If this video was helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. I see you soon for another one, and until then, take care and drink your water.